Hey folks, just a quick one today. So I picked up this recently. This is a Stoeger STR9, and I think this is a later generation model, but I'll talk about that. So Stoeger is a brand owned by Beretta and Benelli, and they are made in Turkey. So this is a Turk Blaster 9000, of course. It even says right there on the frame. I don't know if you can see that, but it absolutely says made in Turkey. So this is a somewhat newish offering that's been around a couple years now, but it is your generic polymer frame striker fired 9mm pistol. So why did I get this? So first off is the price point, of course. These things are incredibly cheap, and they always have rebates going, at least for the past couple, I don't know, last year or so. I've seen rebates on these constantly. And it's usually about like, $50 or so. So not anything super crazy, but not bad either, honestly. And these things just never really captured my attention because it's just a generic striker-fired 9mm pistol. Like, who really cares? But, the interest, my curiosity really got the better of me. And at like $200 that I bought this for from Botac, and with a $50 rebate, this is a $150 gun, right? What could go wrong? Certainly better than some other budget pistols that I will be talking about in other videos. But anyway. So yeah, this is essentially a Glock clone, except for the fact that it doesn't really use Glock parts. The dimensions are slightly different, but the internals on this are 100% Glock, and maybe I can kind of illustrate that here a little bit. So I'll start with the lower here. You can see your usual rails here, locking block here, trigger connector bar here. Actually on this side. Ejector, and the cruciform style sear release back here. So that is 100% like derived from a Glock. So nothing crazy there. For the slide, this appears to be like a generic kind of striker fired slide. I just cleaned it, but yeah. So you got your firing pin block here, striker up here, usual barrel, and solid. This is not a two-piece or two-spring recoil spring arrangement. It is just a one-piece, kind of reminiscent of like Gen 3, and it is solid steel. So that's a nice upgrade from a polymer one. So really nothing crazy about that there. And of course it disassembles and reassembles together just like a Glock. So same kind of spongy trigger. It feels a lot kind of like a Gen 4 almost, kind of like one of the pistols I use for the house. Kind of reminds me of that trigger, but it is slightly textured on the front, and it's kind of this is the Generation 2 version, I like to call it, because the trigger shoe shape is just a little bit different there, and you can see that. If you look at earlier models of STR9, which have like big white letters here on the slide that say STR9 Stoeger, they have more of a curved kind of, I don't know, first generation trigger, right? This one is a more flat style, if you want to call it that. So, and of course the lettering up here is also different. So this is a later production model for sure, but it doesn't really make a huge functional difference to me. The big difference with STR9s and other Glock clones is, of course, their magazines are different. So these are all steel magazines, presumably made by Metgar, because it says made in Italy right there on the mag body. And this holds 15+1, which is not a whole lot considering the size of this gun. This is about Glock 17 size, if you ask me. And, for that size, I would expect at least like 16 or 17 rounds, but this only holds 15, which, when you think about it in like kind of like older historical terms, an M9 is about this size, and a Beretta 92 is about this size, and those originally came 15-round magazines. Same with SIG 226s, originally came 15-round magazines. So it's not a huge deal, but in terms of like modern pistols, it's not very impressive. That being said, though, why did I get it again? So yeah, my curiosity got the best of me, and I just really, really wanted to see how good or how bad these things were, because a lot of people are raving about them and saying these are really great, great value, and I love high value pistols, I really do, or high value weapons in general. So what could go wrong for $150, right? So yeah, I will say the ergonomics of this, like the front grooves here and the back strap here as well, being like highly textured and stuff. This definitely fits my hand pretty well, and better than a Glock does for sure. It has a really, really nice undercut here as well. And the slide stop release lever, as you can see there, despite being a kind of similar profile to a Glock, it actually works a lot better. I don't know why, but it just does. So it's not a huge pain for me to reach with my thumb. You know, even with the mag in, it's really not that hard to depress. The magazines also fall free, which I do like because, of course, it is steel on plastic, which, of course, has a better, lubricity, if you will, than plastic on plastic, because we've all had cases, of course, where you have a Glock mag and you're trying to get that friggin' thing out and it just doesn't want to fall out, I absolutely hate that. Same thing with the Magpul magazines or any other plastic-bodied magazine in a plastic frame. Of course, you're going to have a higher friction there, and they just don't always tend to pop out. So these ones tend to be pretty positive. And honestly, I do actually like the magazine release on this because Gen 3 style Glock magazine releases are just, I think, a little bit too small. And I like how this one is profiled. It works great, honestly. So ergonomics, controls, works great. Everything that I would expect. The sights are your standard kind of 3-dot arrangement. Nothing crazy there. It is their own proprietary cut, which is, I'm indifferent on that because I don't think people are really buying these to upgrade or to put their own sights on there and things like that. Now you can buy tritium night sights for these, which is pretty cool. It is good that Stoeger is providing product support for these things. There's all kinds of different models for these as well. You got the compact, the subcompact, the tactical combat model with a threaded barrel and the optics ready, all the fixings that you could want. This is just the very, very baseline economy model, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole reason. Part of the whole reason why I kind of wanted this as well is to, have a rough and tumble kind of like a truck gun, if you will. Something to just stash away for a little bit and not worry about it, especially if it gets stolen. Yeah, $150, who cares? But I still need it to be reliable, and I still need it to, of course, project 9mm projectiles where I want them to go. So on that front, the shooting experience. So I put about 200 rounds through this with all different kinds of ammo, FMJs, hollow points, and various different kinds. And I had absolutely no stoppages with this at all whatsoever, which is great. That's I love good, reliable pistols, especially at this price point. Again, $150 after a rebate. You can't beat that. There's definitely more budget-minded and even more expensive pistols that I've shot that are not as reliable as that. So that's pretty cool. The trigger, of course, like I said, is kind of like a Gen 3, Gen 4. So I'm not the most accurate with it, but considering what I want to use this for, which is kind of practical engagement distances against two-legged predators, I don't need it to be super duper 2-inch group at 25 yards every single time. It would be nice to get that, of course, but physically speaking, as far as how easy it is to shoot the gun accurately, it's just right there in the middle. It's kind of okay. So here is 50 rounds at the same target at 25 yards. So you can see this is not too bad. And of course, it hits high, so the point of aim is down here, and it's hitting kind of up here. You can see a big hole in the target there. So, for 50 rounds at 25 yards, it's perfectly acceptable. You're gonna put that on a chest or a face, a head, right? Perfectly acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't really take the time to make small little groups and everything. Honestly, I was just having so much fun with this, shooting it. I didn't even think about making 5-shot groups with it. I just wanted to blast. I was having a good time with it. So recoil was very, of course, manageable. It's just overall a pleasant gun to shoot. So all that being taken together, I mean, this thing it has worked amazing for me. It does everything I want it to do, so I'm quite happy with that. And I guess the one down point would be the magazines. These are not the easiest thing in the world to find, and they're not exactly cheap either. I think they're about $40 to $35 a piece. So the fact that this only came with one is a little disappointing. I'd really rather 2, preferably 3. So I ordered some more after I tested this because I wasn't going to order magazines for a gun that didn't work, right? So all my testing was done with just the one magazine. So, but even then, I had no issues. We're talking full magazine plus 1 with all different kinds of ammo, FMJs, hollow points, whatever, just to thoroughly test and make sure that in the configuration that I'm going to use this pistol in, which is a full magazine plus 1, that it is able to operate, of course, in that manner. So it was able to do that with no issues at all, no jams, no stoppages, nothing crazy. Easy to maintain. It hits where I need it to hit. The sights were right on from the factory. Any deviation from that is probably on me. and of course getting used to the Glock style trigger, of course, which I don't necessarily shoot those the best, but you know, for practical applications, this is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with this. So overall, to say, my curiosity has been sated, and I am very happy with this purchase. Honestly, I'm very impressed with what the Turks are able to do at such a low price point. Honestly, you know, I guess if I was going to make one change, I would probably add optics ready on this to be standard. A threaded barrel would be nice at some point, and maybe kind of work on the slide serrations just a little bit. They're a little shallow, but it's not too bad. Manual safety would be kind of cool too, but that's just my personal preference, and you don't really see pistols like this with manual safeties anyways, so no big deal there. But yeah, I also kind of wish the magazines were more available and cheaper, of course. You know, if it could take Glock mags, that would be kind of cool, but I understand why they didn't. You know, they kind of want to do their own thing, make their Glock adjacent clone that isn't a Glock, a legally distinct Glock, and let me copy your homework and just change it a little bit, right? But yeah, I mean, at the price point, these things are freaking awesome, and you know, I have a lot of confidence in saying, you know, these will probably work for anybody who's looking for kind of, you know, budget gun in this price point. I mean, you can't beat $200-300 for these things. Yeah, all day long. And I definitely prefer these over the Palmetto State daggers. I'll say that. Geez, I did not have a good time with daggers. I did not enjoy shooting those. This one, I actually genuinely enjoyed shooting, and I really actually want to take it out and shoot it some more. So yeah, once I get my more magazines in, I'll be putting some more rounds through this, putting some more, putting it more through its paces to really see, you know, what it does when it gets a higher round count. But like I said, for the purposes that I wanted, stash it in a gun, stash it in a backpack, go somewhere, you know, maybe you drop it on the ground or something, you go hike with it, something or other like that. General purpose defensive pistol, right? Yeah, this will work just fine. This is pretty good. So I think it is. I think it's a really good thing, honestly, that good defensive pistols like this, reliable pistols, accurate pistols, can be had for such a price like that, even if they are made in Turkey. You know, obviously, I prefer if they were made here in America, but hey, at this price point, this performance, dude, like I can't argue with that. You know, so yeah, very impressed with the Stoeger STR9. And I'm sure if you watch other videos, reviews on this, you'll probably see the same similar things, but I had to see for myself, of course, because YouTubers can say anything, including myself, right? But this is my personal experience with it, and yeah, I'm quite happy with this purchase. So yeah, I'd definitely say I'd enjoy this more than some other budget brands, okay? You could probably guess who those are based on my other reviews, but yeah, not bad, honestly. I'm excited to shoot this some more, and I might even investigate some of the other models too, like the compact, subcompacts, and just kind of see what they're like. But you know, one good turn deserves another. So good on Stoeger for this, and good on the Turks for making a really nice, affordable, reliable pistol. So yeah, that's it, and yeah, we'll see you next time.